Hey guys, welcome to State of the Meta. DreamHack Malmo just ended, and I wanted to go over a few of the things that really caught my eye in the event. The first one, you have the topics over here actually, on the left of the screen. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was Dcash, and I actually wanted to make a video of this during the event itself, but I figured, you know what, let's wait until DreamHack is over. That way I can make a more educated opinion and get my point across better. But Dcash, crazy things have been going on with this map. We first noticed this during the major in MLG Columbus, and Dcash was very terrorist sided. And by very, I mean exactly, we saw 63.7% of the rounds go towards the terrorists, and that is huge. That's a huge difference, the largest difference by a mile than any of the other maps. Whether it be T-sided or CT-sided, it doesn't matter. So the meta of the game has definitely changed substantially since the past events. And we've been hearing opinions by the analyst desks at these events. The round time, the bomb timer. But I'm not entirely sure that these are necessarily things that are in the terrorists' favor. I mean, for me, extending the bomb timer is something that the CTs are more happy about. Extending the round time, okay, maybe that's a terrorist advantage, but it's kind of 50-50. And that bomb time extension, I think that kind of outweighs the extension of the round time. So I'd definitely like to hear thoughts about this, from the more experienced professional analysts and players. Why Dcash is all of a sudden so T-sided. And the reason I wanted to wait until Malmo to make this video is because of Dcash, because I wanted to see whether or not this trend was going to keep up. And surely enough, while it wasn't that big of a difference as it was at Columbus, DreamHack Malmo, Dcash, terrorist sided, 58% going towards the terrorists. And 58% might not sound like much. It kind of sounds 50-50, a little towards the terrorists. Not true, because if you look at the statistics, most of the maps are very, very balanced. I mean, Dust 2 at Malmo was the next, as in like the next very sided map, and it was 54-45 in favor of the terrorists. And here we're seeing 58-41, or like 58.5, 41.5 towards the terrorists on Dcash. So it's a much bigger difference than all of the other maps combined. And I just gave, the closest, Dust 2. But, I mean, all the other maps, they're even closer. They're even more balanced. So Dcash, very T-sided map in comparison to the other maps we have in the map pool. And I definitely think this needs to be addressed. But also, I want to hear the opinions of other people. Why? I mean, it was CT-sided. It was a CT-sided map, and all of a sudden, we're seeing it be completely T-sided. And this is a trend that we've been seeing for the last two biggest events. I mean, MLG Columbus, very important event, $1 million on the line, and DreamHack Malmo. So that's something to bring to light, is that Dcash now has to be considered a T-sided map at the most professional level, and it has to be considered very T-sided. I mean, it's the most imbalanced map towards the T-side that we've seen in the last two events. I mean, crazy numbers there. Since DreamHack Malmo is over, I wanted to, congratulate Ninjas in Pajamas. They had an exceptional event. I want to be very clear of my opinion on Ninjas in Pajamas. I never thought that they were gone. They've been placing second and third quite highly at a lot of events in the past. I mean, it's not like they've been gone. It's not like they haven't had their chances. They haven't been making money or something, because they've been playing well. They've been making money. They've been having those podium finishes, but they haven't won. And NIP is a team that's always expected to win. And whether it be the players, Forrest, Get Right, extremely star-studded lineup. These guys have won the biggest events in the world, from 1.6 moving on to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and they don't like losing. the management there at NIP surely is not happy with anything less than a win at an event. The fans, after their amazing run, being the longest undefeated team in Counter-Strike Global Offensive history, they're not used to NIP not performing. So this is a very important win, I think, for NIP. Their last big win, they did win Esports M in 2015 in June, but I'm not counting that just because, I mean, they won $12,500 there. So, I mean, it wasn't, it was a first place finish, but it wasn't, a big tournament. Their last big tournament where they placed first was ESL 1 Cologne in 2014. That was still with Fiflaren. I mean, that was a very long time ago, a year and a half ago. And I'm very happy that we see them back as a #1 team. I'm a little nervous about, saying that, oh, NIP is back, they're going to start winning every event. No, I think Counter-Strike is much more evened out among the top players. I think, as we've seen, with TyLoo and Luminosity, for instance, and, the American teams coming up and stepping up, that the gap is much smaller between these top teams than it was. So I don't think that we'll see the era of dominance that much. And especially we have to take into consideration Fnatic wasn't at this tournament. The best team in the world was not here. Navi, Guardian got cleared to play, but obviously he was not performing. The casters were saying every time, Guardian would miss a shot or something, they would stress that, it seems like Guardian, he's not, playing with the AWP as much as he was or whatever. And that is an issue as well. So, yes, NIP is back. Take nothing away from them. They played great. They deserve the win. #1 team at DreamHack Malmo. However, to call them the #1 team in the world, I'm a little hesitant to do that. But it's great to see them with another win. I think it will, not maybe help their confidence since they all come off as very confident people, but it will definitely, in their eyes, it will definitely make sure that, it will just, they know they're confident. Now they have that, just recognition, and they just prove to everyone that what they know to be true is true. So NIP winning DreamHack Malmo, fantastic job from them. And another Swedish team comes to mind, right? And that's Godsent. No one, I don't think, expected them to place as they placed at this event. Same with Envious, who had the same placing. Those two teams. I mean, Envious, we've known they were a top team, but a lot of great names on that team, and they've been seriously underperforming. Envious, but Godsent, brand new team. They formed the organization in April, and even more so, anyone who's been following this team knows that they've been having roster issues. I mean, they started out with Devil Walk, out of all people, and they were highly criticized for it. I mean, I had some inside information as well. They were supposed to join a different organization that, with Devil Walk, and that didn't come to fruition. It just didn't end up happening, and I have a feeling like they didn't know until the last moment what their situation is going to be. In April, we see them, rebrand to Godsent. They create their own organization like Astralis, something along those lines, and they show up to this event. I'll be honest, I thought it was, they're gonna bomb out of the tournament. I had no high hopes. I know they're all great players. Pronax is a legendary in-game leader. Everyone's been repeating this storyline all weekend long. It just didn't add up to me. It didn't make all the sense. But look, they're here. They showed that they're here. And for me, while this was a great event for them, this is where the real work begins. They've marked, they've put their name on the scene. All the other teams know that they're here to play now, and they know that Godsent is very serious about Counter-Strike, which is something I think could have been questioned earlier. And now this is the real work starts. The Thorin mentioned this on the analyst panel that other teams are going to scout them now. They're going to see which maps they like to play on. They'll ban them out. They're going to see what strategies they run. They're going to try and get into Pronax's head. So it's very important now that Godsent work harder now than they ever did before, because I think they truly can be a top team. They really can solidify themselves as one of the best teams in the world. But that means that they have to be updated with the current metas and the current trends, and they have to be one step ahead of the competition at every time, because now is the time they're going to be in real trouble when the teams start actively scouting that team, Godsent, for their strategies, and not someone else in their group. And speaking of a new team on the scene is TyLoo. Now, I'm as happy as the next person that we do have someone from the Asian team stepping up, beating Luminosity, beating Liquid, advancing from a crazy hard group. I think Group A was the hardest group. Group A and D were the hardest groups at DreamHack Malmo. But I mean, hold on a second. They placed 5th to 8th, so it's not like they had an amazing placing. Sure, it was higher than we expected, but I mean, at some point it stopped. And they didn't go all through the tournament surprising everyone until the very end, like a dark horse and winning the thing or going to the final. They placed 5th to 8th. That's nothing really, out of the ordinary. Granted, they surprised us. They played much better than our expectations were, and I want to congratulate them on that. So what I think is more what you can compare it to is the NA scene, actually, is that we're seeing the Asian scene growing. We have CyberZen, we have Mongols. TyLoo isn't the only team over there, and they finally have these, let's say 3, maybe if you count Inch King, so you have 4 top teams or premier level teams that can play against each other. So they do have these practice partners, which will definitely help them grow in the long run. However, I also compare it to the NA scene where we see Liquid come in, Cloud9, back when iBuyPower. These teams never actually won a crazy event, and they never just came out and demolished everyone. They just came in and had surprising events from time to time. However, they weren't able to do it consistently, and that's been a big issue. And that's what I'm scared about for TyLoo, is that everyone's talking about TyLoo and they did crazy, they beat Luminosity, they did this. I also want to talk about Luminosity on that note. They had a really hard group, and as I mentioned, Group A, very difficult. And when you have TyLoo and Liquid, and names that necessarily don't sound good, that up to par with Luminosity, and Luminosity even more so is the most previous major winner, then yeah, you expect Luminosity to go through, obviously. But Luminosity and TyLoo, Liquid and TyLoo showed they're no pushover. Really good teams, and if they're playing, as best as they can, sure, they can beat Luminosity. Any pro team can beat Luminosity on a good day. I think that's what's great about Counter-Strike nowadays, is that these top teams can beat each other. So I want to be very careful about saying that TyLoo is the next best thing and is going to be like we made Fox from when Korea was in 1.6 playing very well, and the old TyLoo when they were crazy dominant. I don't think so. I think their time might come, but it's just not now. I think it's going to be more of an inconsistent showing. Luminosity, that they tripped over themselves. They didn't place well at all. But I think it's one of those things that they just won the major. They placed 2nd in Katowice before the major. I mean, they've been playing a ton of events, extremely active. They were at Star Ladder in Minsk. They placed 2nd there as well. They've been playing a ton, and they've been playing this finals, the full tournament. They haven't had a break at all for a very long time now, and I think that might be having its toll on Luminosity. They had a very difficult group, in my opinion. That had another thing, which is why they didn't make out of their groups. Were they the favorite? Yes. Should they have made out of groups? Yes. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's a disaster. I don't think the team will fall around itself. I don't think that them winning a major was a fluke. I think they deservedly won it, especially taking into consideration, the events leading up to the major. Luminosity played amazingly, and I was just waiting. I was following Luminosity's storyline very closely, and I was waiting for them to win that major. I was predicting them to hit form on the major. I just didn't know whether or not they really could beat Fnatic. But sure enough, they won the major, and I think them losing here is a fluke, not them winning a major. So they will come back. Luminosity will be, the top team that we all know they can be. Will they win every event? Probably not. But I mean, at the same time, I'll make the argument again. Counter-Strike is at a place where, all of these teams are very good, practicing a ton, scouting each other, staying up to date with the meta, and they can all defeat each other. It just depends on who's having the best day. And I want to finish off a little with DreamHack. I mean, what an event DreamHack Malmo was. From crazy player introductions, amazing banter on the analyst panel, on the caster panel. We saw some amazing moments, amazing matches. I think, we say this every event, but DreamHack Malmo really raised the bar when it comes to events. Production-wise, I think it was miles ahead of the MLG major, to be honest. I don't want to knock them too much because MLG was great. I mean, they did some amazing things for the players, for the casters. Everyone that was at Columbus said it was an amazing event. But I think, like, broadcast-wise, I think DreamHack has it down, and their production just was so on point, so amazing. And I mean, you saw Reddit threads the minute we saw those player introductions. Everyone was going nuts. I showed all my friends who are not into esports, look at these introductions. I mean, this is, esports, this is what I do for a living. So, DreamHack, thank you so much. I mean, picking it up, really, some of the best production I've seen, not only in esports, but overall. So, fantastic work from the DreamHack crew. All the players said it was amazing as well. They've been, saying that DreamHack was the best event they've attended. So, obviously they were able to pull off something which is very difficult, which is making an event very good live for the fans, for the players, for the casters, which is not easy. I mean, there's a lot of logistics that goes into taking care of these people and making it great for the viewers at home as well, which is also very difficult. I mean, how do you relay that emotion through the internet? So DreamHack did a great job. I want to thank them for that. And that's all I have for you guys today, but definitely stay with me. Subscribe to my YouTube. It's on the right. It's just press the subscribe button under the video player. I very much appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you agree with me. If you don't agree with me, give me a thumbs down or give me a thumbs up anyway. Better yet, leave your thoughts in the comments why you disagree with me. And be sure to follow me on my social media, which is right here, Facebook, Twitter, and on Twitch, where I broadcast matches daily. So thanks, guys, for listening, and I'll talk to you guys later.